Hey guys, I'm opening up the camera now. It's almost time to go live. So here it is. I am going to say hi to you. Hi, this is Nilesh. I am going live again. We are about to start streaming our series of sessions in what is known as the Cloud Seminar. You may have heard of it. We announced it, I think, 2 days ago. This program is now open for enrollment. There are certain preparatory steps that you need to be able to take that will help you benefit the most out of the program that actually is scheduled to start on January 17th next year. But it's good to prepare ahead of time. So what I'm going to do is project my desktop to you so you can see what I'm looking at, as well as you can also see what's going on. So that should show you my desktop to you. This is the location that I'm talking about, which is the Cloud Seminar program, which is going to formally start on January 17th. The enrollment is open, and it is actually completely free to people who are US veterans. So absolutely no charge, no GI Bill needed, no paperwork needed, no approval from government or agency needed, just nothing needed. Only thing you need to do is to pay attention and do the work. That's the requirement, that you have to do the work in terms of understanding, learning, hands-on exercises to get to your goal, which is to land a career in cloud computing, DevOps, and things of that nature. So that's the idea behind this program. So that program is absolutely, and again I repeat, I think I mentioned this on the Veterans Day. There is a post on multiple social media platforms directly coming from me, in which I disclose this new program, which is totally free for US veterans. And so that is something that I think the veterans community probably already knows by now, but I'm going to just repeat that this idea is free, like absolutely no strings attached, totally free is this program, and it is right here where you go and apply. And after that, when you click through the apply button, let me just quickly walk you through what happens. So there is clarity about what needs to happen after you click the apply button. Let me actually click it myself. So here I go, and I'm going to click the apply button, and there are some questions. The first thing is your name, a program of your choice. The Cloud Seminar is what you should select. Provide your LinkedIn link if you like, so I can know more about you, why you want to join the program. Then the next subsequent step is a hurdle. There's a couple of questions I'll ask you about, some technical questions, so just to get the right level of skill set into the program so that you actually benefit from the outcome of this program. There's a test, and once you pass the test, you schedule a Zoom meeting with me and you discuss with me your goals, and then we'll get you started. If you meet the requirements in terms of the technical capability and your willingness to succeed in this direction of cloud computing, DevOps, and that career track, if you want to go, I want to understand a little bit more about you, and then you enter the program. That's the process. That's it, just a couple of steps here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you're done. That's the step sequence you need to follow. And if you're not a US veteran, the program is not free. You can of course purchase the program by clicking the Join Now button, and here you can essentially use a credit card and make a choice of what you want to pay. It is a 6-month long program. You can pay upfront like this, or you can pay month by month if you like, but I'll let you decide what you want. So back into the program itself. What is the program about? The program essentially helps you understand cloud computing and learn skills by doing hands-on exercises. I've been running this Cloud Genius company this is the 11th year, so quite so many people have taken the program. We have like probably 1,000 employees of various companies like Boeing, Microsoft, Amazon, Expedia, and more than that 1,000 number of US veterans have already gone through the program all over the US. And that program is gained popularity. Lots of people have taken it, lots of people have benefited from it, and so that was one of the ideas that some of the veterans told me that why don't you make it available for everybody so that any veteran can take it. And that's the reason why we decided this year to let you access completely free if you are a US veteran. That's the only requirement. So now the program itself, it's a 6-month-long program. It is driven on your own time. It has a specific start date and a specific end date. The start date actually is right here, Jan 17th, and it will go for, you just add 180 days on top. So that's roughly about, July 17th. So that's the period of the program. So my thinking about this program is you can finish it in 6 months period if you like. You can finish faster if you like. You can take more time if you like, depending on how busy you are with other things in your life. And my thinking is we go step by step by doing hands-on exercises about various topics. And once you get access into the program, what you can see is it'll straight away take you to this section, which is the Explore section. And by the way, some of you who read news about access to the program for free are already live and are participating in the program. So I don't want to stop you, make you wait until the Jan 17th. There are some things you can do right away without having to actually wait for the program to formally start, to prepare yourself for success. Because learning can doesn't need to stop. You don't have to wait for a deadline for it to arrive before you start learning. So I actually welcome people begin on their own. So what I'm doing today is to give you an idea about those who have already signed up and are accessing the program content. This video stream is primarily for you. The idea behind this stream is to help you understand how do you use this site, how do you do the work, the thing that is needed for you to get prepared, so that you can actually do the hands-on assignments and project and build new things for your customers, your clients, and the tools that you need to prepare yourself and your computer for success is what I will actually demonstrate myself. So you can watch this video recording, which becomes available right here on this site. And right now it is available on multiple social media platforms. It is streaming live. You can watch it, catch it live. And if you somehow miss it for some reason, you can always come back here and see it. So the way to get there is to go to this Cloud Genius page, scroll down a little bit, and then find the Explore button, and then Modules, and then Begin. And here you will see a list of modules that are going to be populated. And the first one is Introduction. How do you get started? And that's the beginning step. So that's what we will actually go through and do the hands-on work needed to prepare yourself for success. And that means you prepare not only yourself but also your computer, so that you can actually do the work needed to learn, to improve upon what you're doing in terms of gaining skills needed to gain success in your career that you want to drive at. So while doing that, we need to understand that we will focus our efforts on a defined goal. And so let's begin with defining that goal. The goal, from many of you, I've spoken to many of you, is very clear. You want to build your career, and that career is specifically focused in this direction. That's what you want to be able to do, and that's the reason why many of you have actually signed up for this program. And sign-ups are continuing, but the actual formal start will happen, as I said, on January, whatever that date was, 17th. Yeah. So I think on Monday. That's when the program will actually formally start. But this is your goal. So let's go read that goal very clearly, so that we are clear about who will actually benefit from this program, so that those who understand this idea should go through the program. Others, you can skip. You can ignore. Just don't have to worry about it if that's not your goal. So the goal is right here. You want to build your career for a role in cloud computing, DevOps, site reliability engineering, and that's the kind of role that you want to have, and you want this to be your goal. If that meets your idea of your goal, then this program is the right program for you. Otherwise, you can just ignore everything I'm saying and do something else that you like. So having said that, clarified the goal, our goal will be to begin with basic steps, like really basic, like baby steps: crawl, walk, run, and fly, and eventually fly by wire, so that it's completely hands-on, hands-off, automated, and things happen exactly how you want. But you want to be able to get things done in a completely hands-off, automated fashion. For that, you have to begin with crawling, walking, running, learning, by doing things, and there is no escape from that. That's the only way to succeed. So this crawl, walk, run approach to getting a goal that you have, which is to land a career in cloud computing, we have to identify what you need to have. And so I define that need in terms of this idea is to specify your focus. And the focus is to acquire the necessary and sufficient skills that will help you get to that goal, the stated goal that we had. And when you want to do that, I'm just quickly going to check stream messages. I'm getting some social media messages from people who are watching the live stream. So I'm going to quickly check that. Yeah, I think people are joining live and they're chatting with me. So give me just a second. I'm going to quickly check the chat messages and hand off the chat to another person who can manage these chats. But they are directly pinging me. So I'm going to quickly look at what Yusuf is saying. Yusuf is so welcome, Yusuf. He's in chat window. I'm going to just quickly check what he's saying and answer his question, and then we proceed forward. So give me just a sec. Yeah, so I think Yusuf is getting his answers on a side channel. We have a Slack channel, by the way, so you should be able to participate in those Slack channel discussions on whenever you have time. And let's get back to what we were discussing. So let's again state that goal that I mentioned is to land your career, and to get to that goal we have to identify what do you need. You need certain things that are necessary and sufficient for you to accomplish this goal, and you want to focus exactly on that. So what does that focus mean really? The focus word basically means exclusion. That means you will do only these things. That's it. And that means you will not do anything else. I mean, that's exactly what it means. And so if you want to make sure that you succeed that goal, in accomplishing the goal, you want to not do anything else except what is clearly necessary and sufficient to accomplish the goal. That's what we want to nail. And that means you will not do anything else. I mean, it's hard. It's actually very, very hard. I find it personally impossible, close to impossible, to just focus, because that's the hardest problem today these days. We have so many things bombarding and taking up our attention. Is that I actually joke about this, is that yeah, the program for veterans is free. Yeah, free, but what you still have to pay attention, and attention is really the most scarce commodity on the planet today. It's really hard to pay attention, and that is what you need to really pay. If you pay attention, you will get the benefit. I think that is a very hard thing to do. I personally find it very challenging. When I'm reading something, I go on the internet, I find things, and by the way, the internet is like full of beautiful things. You go find beautiful nuggets of wisdom, new ideas, new tools, new things. It's mind-blowing, and that itself is a problem, because what you want to be able to do is to focus on what is necessary and sufficient, and then you find this nugget here and that beautiful object there and this thing there. You want to absolutely ignore them. Yes, they are useful, they are nice to have. Don't want to have right away. You will get there later on. Nice to have. So I call it out, like later you get the nice to have objects that you like, things you like. Oh, I find this new tool set, or I find this exciting new blog post, or some research from some company. Yeah, okay, whatever. Skip that for now. Make a list, keep it on the side later. But first focus on these things, necessary and sufficient. And that, I think, is the key to success. You want to focus. You want to basically not do anything else other than what is this for your goal. So with that, we will go forward. Okay, so next page. On the next page, we have some ideas for you to read, and of course you can read on your own. So I'm not going to actually read out what I have. There are a ton of content available on the site, so I'm going to skip some of the portions. I'll let you read, but I will definitely touch upon some of the key ideas that you want to focus on, which is, what is really driving this cloud thing? Like the cloud, is it a buzzword or what? And yes, it is a buzzword. Essentially, in a very, very simple way, think about cloud computing is just computing. The only difference is the computer is away from you. So you are using Jeff Bezos' computer, or Sundar Pichai's computer, or something like somebody else's computer. You're using it, and that's what is called cloud computing. This is a joke. There is actually not too much joke in that. It's actually reality. So cloud computing is just somebody else's computer that you happen to be renting. Think of it that way. That will clarify and actually reduce some of the confusion that people might have, in terms of what is cloud computing? Is it in the cloud or what? Yeah, the word cloud is very loaded. It's actually a marketing word. And so the marketing buzzword cloud. And so when I was younger, IBM used to be we still have a company called IBM. Those people actually came up with this idea that you should. The marketing people in IBM used to say, anything that you don't want to talk about or don't pay attention too much, it's like an abstracted layer of things that you want to put away from you. Just put that in the cloud, and you deal with it like a black box. And so you send input, get the output, and whatever this thing inside is like a fuzzy thing. Call it cloud. That's how the marketing aspects of the word cloud came about, and then it got adopted in the industry as if it's a formal thing. But essentially, it's basically abstraction of computers away from you, that you don't actually get to touch it physically, and you use it just like it is your own computer. So that's the underlying idea. Now, a couple of things here. Again, back to our goal discussion. In that goal, like I mentioned, the idea is, let me zoom on the picture here a little bit. That will help us understand what will help you accomplish your goal. Like I mentioned, the goal that you want, and it needs three things. I'll enumerate them. These are right here, three things. That is what is needed. Of course, the necessary and sufficient skills that you need to build, that's one of the ingredients. But that is not the complete story to get to what you want. Excuse me. So you are here, you want to get there. And you can get there by doing these three things, and I call them out. One, build that necessary and sufficient set of relevant skills that you need to have. So, build the skill set. The second thing you need to do is to build evidence that you have the number one item, which is the skill. Like that evidence that demonstrates that you have the skill is a very critical component. That evidence is basically in terms of projects that you do for yourself, so that you can show to other people that you have the skill. Like that's the second thing that you need to have. So not skill alone itself doesn't cut it. You need to have evidence that supports that you have the skill, that to be able to show, to be able to demonstrate, to be able to credibly demonstrate that you know your stuff. That credibility comes from functioning solution or something that is evident. That is, you don't have to speak about anything. You just don't have to say that I know this, I know that. You don't even have to claim, because your evidence speaks for itself. That it shows and demonstrates that you know the thing that is necessary and sufficient for the job that you want. And that is the second critical idea, and that basically comes from work, hands-on work, to build projects, to do the thing that employers want, and that becomes your evidence. And now the third important thing is to network with people in the industry to demonstrate this evidence that you have created about the skills that you possess. And that is also important, because you can have skills, you can build your evidence, but there needs to be people who can potentially hire you, need to be able to see that evidence. And so you also need that third thing, network with the people. So build skills, create and build evidence, show it to the people, in the industry by networking with them. So these are three critical things that you need to be able to do to accomplish your career goal. So that's something I want to have clarity about, which is what I'm trying to accomplish, which means simply going through the program by watching things is not going to cut it. It doesn't work that way anymore. It used to. But at the end of the program, you will receive a certificate, and that certificate is not your evidence of skill. Let me say that out loud. A certificate that we will generate, yes, I will generate and sign and give it to you. That certificate is basically of no use because, as I said, this is what you need, skills. And the evidence, which is actually real work, real project work that you do. Yeah, people claim I have this certificate and I have that certificate. That is utter nonsense. I personally have like 3 degrees from best of colleges worldwide. When I got a job like back in 2004 or what in Microsoft, yes, they did not check my degrees, not at all. The only time someone who checked my degree from multiple colleges, University of Michigan and others, in Indian Institute of Science, the only entity that checked my paperwork was the US government when they were letting me into the country to become a citizen. That's the only time they validated that I actually have the degrees. That's it. Nobody ever bothered to check, because these papers are kind of sort of what I call checkbox, hygiene factor. Did you brush your teeth? Yeah. Did you shower this morning? Yeah. So, okay, then we can talk. Otherwise, you're not even welcome in the building. So you need to have that certificate, but that's pretty much the use of that certificate. It doesn't get you what you want. All you get is an entry into the interview room, but that doesn't get you the job that you want. To get that career actually, enabled for you, you need these things: skills, evidence, and network with people. See, nowhere in this list is a mention of a degree or a certificate or a diploma or whatever. These are papers. They are hygiene factor. Like, hey, did you brush? Okay, I can talk to you. Come on into the room with me. I can sit with you and talk. That's the hygiene aspect of brushing your teeth, is kind of getting a certificate or diploma. It's pretty low use scenario. This is what you need. So that's my takeaway on this idea. So having seen and understood that, let us move forward. How do you build that evidence? How do you build a network? So that's what we will build an action plan about. What do we need to do? How do we get there? So what we need to do is to review the material that I provide. Like, this video will become a part of the video, in this website. That this video today that I'm broadcasting will show up into the website as soon as this video session finishes, whenever it does. So I have very long videos, like sometimes I go 2 to 3 hours. People watch, people ask questions, and your questions are, by the way, being answered in chat. You can answer and get your questions answered right in this chat by looking on the front page of this website. So just go to the front page here, for example. So let's go to the front page, and here you see me talking right there. And in that window on the left, you can so on the right, you can chat here, say hi. And this is me asking a question to myself. And so that's kind of silly. But here, Nilesh says hi. That's me asking myself a question, or saying hi to myself. But that's a demonstration of how you can actually ask your questions, and that is where you can chat away and you can get your questions answered. And now you're getting this infinite loop of me in a video inside of me in a video inside of, and it will go on. And this infinite what I call a mirror image of a mirror image keeps on going, because I'm streaming the site I'm streaming into, and that's like it's an artifact. You will see that. Only I will see that, by the way, and of course in the recording you will get to see it. But this is an artifact of the fact that I'm screencasting the screen, which is screencasting the screen, which is screencasting the screen. So it goes on. Having said, let's go back to what we were discussing. So what we're discussing is this idea of reviewing the content, and that reviewing is like watching videos and reading the material, and you will see lots of these details. Then you need to work on exercises to build some beginning baby step examples, to build them on even further to make it somewhat useful, and then to take concrete projects and actually implement them for yourself, so that you can build that evidence that you need, so you can demonstrate that you know the skill that is needed to get to a point where you can actually then go and connect with people. This connection is with people. This building is actually the evidence part, and review is to learn and acquire skills. And those are the three things again, and that's what I would have. You can, of course, once you have access, you can read the whole thing. And let's go forward. And in the next set of steps, what I want to be able to do is to help you understand how do you do exercises without messing up your computer. So you have a computer, I have a computer, and when I do something new, I might mess up, I might make a mistake. I don't want you to make a mess out of your actual personal computer. I have a PC, I have a Mac, and these are good machines. I take care of them. I don't want to mess them up, but I do want to create mess. And so I don't want to mess up my computer. So I want to have a computer that I can mess up somebody else's computer. See, I mentioned this somebody else's computer. That's what I mean by cloud. So what I'm going to suggest is that here is your computer. This is the one. You want to keep it nice and clean. And you don't want to make a mess. So you want to mess this one up. What is that? It's Jeff Bezos' computer. So we'll take one from him and mess it up. And you keep this clean. So that's what I would like to, that's the first hands-on exercise, by the way, is to give you the ability to make a mess without actually messing up your personal computer. You can mess it up. This one, not this one. You keep it clean. So how do you accomplish that? That's this exercise. The very first one is to enable a playground for you to mess and delete and do it again. So you can create a mess, do exercises, make mistakes, keep making multiple mistakes because you don't care. It's not your computer, right? So you mess this one up, which is Jeff Bezos. He has to worry about cleaning it up. You don't have to worry about it. The good thing is most of these cloud companies like Google Cloud and Amazon Cloud and Microsoft Cloud and bring your own cloud. Not bring your own. Just any. There's a whole list here somewhere in the website. You will see it. Once you click through, you will see that list. These companies give freebies, like free access. For example, let's go see this one. So let's open up a web page. I think we'll use this Amazon. I don't have the free version, but you can definitely get a free version if you're using it for the first time. So let's go see, open up a web page here. So it's called aws.amazon.com, amazon.com/free. I think they give you free stuff. So right here, free tier. What they give you here is access to one computer that you can use for a full year. And that is a good thing. I think that hi from Nilesh needs to go away. So let me clear it off. That goes away. And so, yeah, the program you're looking at is a free tier service from Amazon. They give you access to one computer and a bunch of other details. So you should potentially sign up for this and make use of that free access to you. And that is what this machine is going to be. So this machine that you will rent literally for $0 from Amazon, and you configure your personal computer so that it connects your computer, your PC or Mac. This can be your PC, this can be your Mac, this can also be your Linux computer if you like. And this connects to the Amazon machine, and you mess this one up, this one. And once you mess it up, it doesn't work anymore the way you want. So what do? You kill it and create another one, connect it, and you get a new one, and you mess that one up again and again and again for one full year. So that's very generous of most of these cloud companies. It's actually not generosity, it's they're trying to make it easy for you to use their cloud, so that eventually when you learn these skills, that you will want to work for some company that is likely to use Amazon's cloud. or likely to use anybody else's cloud, and that's the reason why they give you a free access. So having understood that idea, let us see what needs to be done in order for you to actually get a machine like that. You need to get to a Amazon account, the free tier, like I mentioned here, for example, the free tier access. You sign up, they will ask you for a credit card, because they don't want you to be able to get access to any number of machines. They will only give you free for one machine for 1 full year. I think that's the term. Read the fine print. Is not scary, but they will definitely ask you for a credit card, because they don't want you to be able to spend more than what you are authorized to use for a free tier under the terms of this. So make sure you don't go beyond what they are giving you for free, so that you don't actually burn your money, but you benefit from what they are offering. And that's the idea. So I have an account already with them. I have an account for I think 13 or 14 years. So I've been using that Amazon account. Once you log into that, it looks like this. After you log into the Amazon cloud, where I have basically nothing right now, like absolutely nothing. So what do you do here? There's a couple of things that I want you to understand, and those things are written down, by the way, on the next page. So in your PC, for example, if you have a personal computer like a Windows PC, I have one today, I think. Yeah, so here it how it looks like. Let's see if we can start it. So the PC is starting up. I am on a Mac, and on the Mac you can access the terminal command line like this and make it bigger, and use this command line to interface with the Amazon cloud in Mac. So that's the Mac approach. We have both approaches, actually a third approach also written down here, depending on what you actually use. For example, some people use PC and some people use Mac. And there are some people, the special people I call them, they don't use either Windows or Mac, they use Linux direct, and they don't need much help from setting up, because they probably already are proficient in terms of how to use Linux, and which is the crux of this program is Linux computers. So let me get to a point. I think my Windows machine is sleeping or what, I don't know what, something going on, but Macintosh is functional. Let's get to the browser again, Google Chrome. So this page here is on set up your PC, and this entire page, it's a very long page actually. It gives you step-by-step instructions on how do you set up your PC so that it connects to the Amazon cloud here in the Oregon region. So remember, Oregon, you have to actually select Oregon here, and also remember to follow the instructions on this page here, and that page will actually walk you through step by step. For PC users, you should do this. If you're a Macintosh user like I am right now, I will go to the next one, and here you will see set up your Macintosh. This is what I will be following on a Mac. And for those special people, like I call them special because they don't run either Windows or Mac, they run a Linux computer directly on their boxes, and they can also make sure that they access the Amazon setup just like a PC user or a Mac user would, but they will be using a Linux machine, and their instructions are written down here, and you can follow those instructions if you're a Linux user. And if you're an advanced Linux user, you probably don't need these instructions, you already know what to do. But if you do instructions, if you need help, yeah, read this page. If you're a Mac user, go to this page, set up your Mac. If you're a PC user, go to this page. And since most people use PCs, I want to actually use my PC, which is still waking up. It's actually a virtual machine running something, running Windows 11. So I'm waiting for it to wake up. Once it does, I will demonstrate the Windows setup. But for now, let's go see how do you set up your Mac. So I'll go to the next page here and go to the Mac instructions. Mac instructions are like this. So what do you need to have on a Macintosh? Pretty minimal things, but let's go put them side by side with the browser and terminal. On the right side, I have the terminal. This is my terminal application. How do you open the terminal? Well, you go like this, pinch and say terminal, and so or just you know how to start applications on your, so there's an app called Terminal app in Macintosh. So start it, this black window shows up. This black window will pop up, not Windows, window that will pop up. And so similar to that in PC land, there is a thing called PowerShell, and so you can use that if you're using Windows. So I will demonstrate both of them. Let's see. Set up your Mac. What do we need? We need this Macintosh to use the ZSH shell, which by the way, by default it uses the shell. So I'll say which shell, it'll tell you it is running ZSH, which is exactly comes by default, and that's what you want. So but some people want to use a different shell. So if they're using a different shell, I would suggest that you use Z shell, which is the default shell in Macintosh, not Bash. Some people, Bash used to be the older shell like a few years ago. That used to be the default in Macintosh. So some people prefer that, but for this exercise, I would suggest that you switch to the Z shell, which is by default you get Z shell. So that's the first step. Once you have Z shell on your Macintosh, you need to install Homebrew. And of course that free tier, like I mentioned here, the free cloud computing Amazon free tier, you get that. You'll create a login password, and then you set up. So something happened with my Windows. I'll just skip Windows. I'll forget Windows. Yeah, you need to have a real machine. I don't have a real PC to demonstrate access to that. I have a virtual machine that did not behave properly, so I'm going to skip that part. Focus just on the Macintosh setup, and I will have a video for this step for Windows PC users. There is a video right here, actually somewhere here. There are lots of instructions and automated videos available for you to examine, and if you get stuck, you can always Slack chat for help. In your Macintosh setup, what I'm going to do is the next step you need to have is install Homebrew. This piece of package, this software is actually, think of it like an app store. It's an app store completely full of open source projects, and you can install whatever app you want. If it is open source, it's probably available in Homebrew, and you need to install this app store itself on your Mac. Many people already have Homebrew, and the way to install it is mentioned right on the Brew website. This is how you install it. Take that one-liner, run it here, and off you go. That's how you get Homebrew. Well, I have Homebrew already, so I can just check, say brew, and I say whatever I have brew, and Brew will tell you that you have. So that's what I did. I copied this line from here, this entire line. The same line is also available right here in our website. Right here. Let me just refresh this browser window to get the right font visibility and zoom. There we go. So now we have a bigger font. You need to copy from here and paste. Simply pasting this command from the left side to the right side you will see this screencast here is actually demonstrating the Brew installation. And you can update Brew like this. Brew update will update Homebrew for you, because Brew keeps updating itself, because the packages get updated. For example, MariaDB package got updated right now, and so that's how you update Brew. Once you have that, you need to then, in your terminal like this, copy this line. And what does that do? That will basically be the foundation to install certain pieces of software you need on your Macintosh. For example, we need AWS command line interface, we need JQ, wget, Visual Studio Code, Visual Studio remote connection, and related settings. That's what we need to have in our Macintosh. This is a minimal set of software that we need to have on your computer like a Mac. And on the PC side, there are very similar minimal things that we need to have on the PC, so that the PC or the Mac can connect to the Amazon cloud. And everything else, all the exercises, they go on that rented computer, like the computer from Amazon free tier. You mess it up, you delete it, you create it again. And that's the idea about, you know, not messing up your own computer. So in this step, what I'm going to do is start the terminal and run these steps. So the first step is this one, copy and paste. And what this does, as I described here, I'm going to run it, is going to install AWS command line interface, JQ, wget, Visual Studio Code, and remote connection, and the associated settings. That's what's going on here. It will finish soon, and then my machine is ready. And so what this will do is, as it finishes, it will prepare my machine to then connect to the Amazon's Oregon region. Let's go see what that means. Once you log into this Amazon account, you will need to go click the upper left corner button called AWS console, and then all services, and then go to compute EC2 services. So remember, it is right here, all services, compute EC2. That's where you want to get a rental machine from. There are a ton of services, by the way. Yes, you will get into all of that later, subsequently. Let's focus on one thing at a time. Here, that's where you get a rental machine, and we want to get it. And there is, by the way, completely automated method of getting that machine and connecting it to your computer is available in the exercise. And you can examine what we are doing, and by examining the code itself, if you like. But for right now, let us get to that EC2 section, and that is where we will create a new instance. What's an instance? Instance is a machine. It's a computer. It's a rental computer. Okay, and so let's go examine our Macintosh. So Mike it seems to have finished doing whatever it was doing. That means we have finished this step, which is the installation of these minimal components that are necessary. So that is done. We will select the Oregon region in our Amazon account. So we'll go to the upper section here. By default, I think it goes to, for newer users, I think it goes to Ohio for some reason. By default, you need to switch it to Oregon, right there. And then we create a key pair, a company key pair with AWS free tier. So key pair is available in this section. In your name, go to the security credentials, and there you will find a place to create access key and secret. You see, I have already created one some time ago. Excuse me. So this access key, you can create one like this. Create a new access key. It gives you two things. There is a access key and a secret. Both are supposed to be kept secret. You should not show it to anybody, because if you do show this secret, there's a thing called AWS access key, and another thing is called a secret. If by mistake you accidentally disclose this information to the internet, which is full of good things, by the way, and also bad things. There are bad people, just like in the real world. There are good people in the real world, and so is the internet. It's a good place, it's a bad place. It's not scary. You just need to know what not to do, and that is what this thing is about. So you create an access key, and you will keep it for your eyes only. It's like your credit card number. You don't want to give it unless you trust the other party. And this secret is actually much more important to secure than just a credit card, because credit card number you actually give it to the vendor you're buying things from. This secret you don't give to anybody, nobody, not even your manager. That's the idea. You should never give the secret to anybody. Keep it yourself. You use it in the command, and I'll demonstrate where you use it. But that's the only place it is kept safe in your computer, and we'll see how to do that in a Macintosh. So you grab that new access key, and by the way, just for the purpose of demonstration, I'm going to actually show my keys to all of you, and I know so many people are watching, so I should not be doing this, but just for demonstration I'm going to just show you my keys. So here it is. This is the access key, this is the secret key. So this is how it looks like. You should just watch. So the access key, secret key, and you copy them and you close it. And by the way, I should quickly delete it. So this November 13 key that I have, I should make it inactive immediately so that it doesn't get hacked, because like I'm streaming this worldwide, multiple social media platforms, right on the front page of my website. I don't want to mess up. So but that's how a key looks like. So to be precise, a key would be something that looks like, let me just expose that key again to you. This key is basically dead now because I deactivated it, and so that's how a key pair looks like. And this is the key pair I was able to get from Amazon. This key is the key to the kingdom of Amazon, if you can think of it like that. Don't, again repeat, do not disclose this secret key to anybody whatsoever. In fact, for due diligence, I am going to just delete that key that I created, this one. It has the name Bra. Bra. Okay, that's funny. So there's a bra in there, well, with no space. So I should delete that access key, by the way, quickly before I mess it up. So I'm going to just delete the right set of keys like that, and this bra key should be deleted. Say goodbye, and it's gone. It's gone. It disappears eventually, but right now it's gone. So that's how a key pair looks like. Now what these keys do is they give you access to the Amazon account, so that you can programmatically create, destroy, do stuff. And of course, in return, when you're consuming Amazon's resources, you will get a bill like here on the billing dashboard. And thank goodness in the free tier, lots of these things are free, so you don't have to worry about too much. You have to pay attention, but don't have to worry about the bill too much. Unless you go beyond the free tier limits, then you have to pay out of your pocket. So that's the reason why you don't want to expose the secret and access key. I know, like a long time ago, I've heard people who accidentally expose these keys on open repositories on GitHub. Hackers came along, immediately took control of the Amazon account, started multiple Bitcoin mining instances on multiple regions in the Amazon cloud, and the poor guys started accumulating a bill at the rate of like $3,000 to $4,000 an hour. Yeah, I'm not even kidding, an hour. Yikes. And then you have to call Amazon frantically and tell them, hey, I lost my key, and they'll turn off your instances and lock your account and still give you a bill, and then you negotiate with them and tell them that you're new, you're learning, and then they might wave it off. That has happened. But be careful. There's no fun in wasting anybody's money. Using is good. Using resources is a good thing. Wasting resources is a bad thing. So yes, you have access to the free tier, you use it, but don't waste your resources even though they are free. So don't waste it. And definitely do not disclose your keys to anybody. You keep them safe. Now, having understood that the importance of secret and maintaining a secret, let's go forward. So you get that key, secret key, a key pair, and access key and secret key. So you get that here. You have it now. Then you have to restart your terminal. You restart your terminal by typing this command here, exec $shell. You copy that, paste it here. That restarts your shell. And then you can configure AWS command line interface and provide your keys to the Amazon software here. Oh, not this, sorry. I need to copy that, break it, copy this command, and then paste it. Say AWS configure. and then this is where you need to provide that key, like this key that I have here. This key, access key, goes right there. Oh, not here. I need to copy first properly. So I copy from line number 8 like this and paste it like that. And the next question will be secret, and you need to copy paste the secret, and then since this key and the secret are invalid, I deleted them, they're not valid anymore. So I'm going to not copy paste the wrong ones. I'm using the ones that I already have in my system. And then the next question will be secret access key. You copy paste the secret access from here, for example, line number 13, give it to there on the right side. And then you next step is to define the region of your choice. I mentioned, you will be using this thing called what do we call it, Amazon Oregon region here, Oregon. And so this Oregon region is it has a code. The region code is called US West 2. So you have to tell your software, Amazon software, I want to play in the Oregon region. So you select that in the browser window, like here, Oregon, like that. And also your software needs to know that you want to interface with the Oregon region. So you say US-West-2. And so that's another answer you need to provide, is the region, a name of the region is basically Oregon. You don't type Oregon, you type US West 2. It corresponds to Oregon region. And that's the answer to the next question here. The default region name, US West 2. And then a default output format, none is a good answer, and then you are done. So with that step of configuration, what I would like to now do is proceed forward. In the next step, we have configured our AWS access key like that. You saw that. And then we will create a machine here in EC2. And you will see that I do not have anything at all in my EC2 dashboard. Let's see what do we have. Let's take an inventory. What do we have right now? We have one security group. Everything else is 0. So this is given to you by default. You cannot delete this default security group. Not possible. Everything else is not there. Nothing is there to begin with. It's like a blank slate. Let's go inspect the security group, which is the only one which is given to you by default. And let's go inspect that. So we go in there, and this is the default security group, as you can see. Let's call it ignore this. And I'm calling it ignore this because I actually want you to ignore it. We're not using anything given to us by default. We will create everything on our own for our own use from scratch. Anything that is spoon fed, like given, I'm not using it. Just not. Having said that, let us now examine the next step in our sequence. In the next step, you will find here is that you need to create a machine key pair and a security group. So we need to create a machine key pair and security group for our computer in the Amazon cloud. The computer in Amazon cloud, I call it Cloud Genius Workstation. That workstation is going to be created in the Amazon's cloud, and for you to be able to connect to it, you need another key pair, not these key pair, but another one. You need to have that. That key pair we will generate. It will be a combination, again, 1 and 2 things together. That makes it a pair. And these things are called ID_RSA and ID_RSA.pub. This is the combination or the pair that we need to create. This is a default name. You can choose any name you like, but by default, that's the names chosen. By default, we will create a key pair for use to your machine to connect to the Amazon computer, you need these two things, and you need to provide the public key, and this is the private key, by the way. And private key is something that you want to keep obviously private. You don't want to give it to anybody, just like you don't give the secret to anybody. You don't give the private key to anybody. So this private key, this file will be generated and it will be stored on your computer here on the PC or Mac or Linux, and you give the public key to them, to the cloud company. And so that will, all of these actions, by the way, are going to be automatically happening by running this step. So you take that step, run it here, it will generate a key pair, take the public key, give it to Amazon, create a security group, and that's it. That's this step. So we'll just execute that step and see what happens, which means we'll go here, not here, here, examine what we have. Again, we have nothing except one security group given to us. By default, everything else is 0. So we don't have a running instance, we don't have any key pairs, we don't have any custom created security group that we created, don't have any yet. So what we'll do now is take this command and run it. So what it will do now is create a key pair, private key, public key, and give the public to Amazon, and create a security group in Amazon. It will place the private key in my computer right here in this machine in a specific location. That location is known as this folder, .ssh folder. This is where the key was created, by the way, and this key was generated right now. This is the public key, this is the private key. The public is given to Amazon cloud already, and the cloud also has our security group configuration. Let's go refresh. So as you see right now, it still shows the old view with only one security group, everything else zeroed out. We'll now refresh our screen, and now you will see that we have two security groups and one key pair, because this key pair was created and the public copy was given to the Amazon cloud, and a security group was also created. Next, we'll go and examine the key pair, and this is the CloudGenius key, the same key that we pushed from our script, this automation script. Put this public key from the computer and provided it to Amazon. That way Amazon knows that you are the one accessing that machine out there. Also, there is a security group created based on what I wanted, and that is this security group called CloudGenius SG, and it has very minimal configuration again, and so you need to understand that, and there will be more detailed exercises as we go forward in terms of these things about what rules do we have, and we're not going to detail about these rules right now, but just understand that there is a thing called security group in place. It's like a firewall in the Amazon cloud to protect only certain things allowed and not other things are not allowed. Things of that nature are a set of rules that are kept in this security group, and that group I just created for us using the script. And the scripts are, you can inspect them, by the way, yourself by just downloading the script itself and reading it. They're publicly open and available. You can inspect the script if you like. So we have created a security group and a key pair in our machine, and next step is to actually create a computer. Like here, we don't have one yet. There are no running instances, zero running instances. So we need to create a new machine, create a CloudGenius workstation in the Amazon cloud, and let's do that as simply as copying this one-liner. And you can see the instructions on the site are provided. They're automated videos here. They're not actually, it's not actually a video. If you pay careful attention, this is not a GIF animation either. This is something you can actually copy paste from, like right there. Yes, it looks like a video, is not a video, it's not a GIF animation, it is copy pastable text that looks like a video, operates like a video. You can copy pretty much just like that, whatever you want. And here, copy. So it's copy pastable text. It's called ASCII cast, by the way, for those who do not know. This thing is called ASCII cast. So it's streamed text that looks like a video. Whatever I see on the command line here on the right side, I capture it in a screencast. It's actually ASCII cast, and I stream it right there on the left side in the website. So that is what we need to do, is to create a workstation in the Amazon cloud. And so I will copy this one-liner. This is another script. What it will do is, let's go execute that. This script itself takes about 2 to 3 minutes. But what it's going to do here is to create a new machine instance right there in the Amazon cloud. And what I want to be able to do is to be able to show you how to connect to it. And for that, let us go run this script. This one-liner script will actually go and create a new machine. We call it the the Cloud Genius workstation in the AWS cloud. That's the one-liner script. I'm going to hit enter. It takes about 3 minutes for the machine to get ready, and your PC or Mac will get configured to connect to that machine out in the Amazon cloud. So as you see on the left half, you don't see any activity yet, but if I refresh, you see that a new machine has popped up. That machine is initializing. And once it initializes, this is actually creating a new computer in the Amazon cloud in your free tier account and injecting it with the public key that we have given to Amazon. This key that we gave to Amazon through the script was called Cloud Genius key pair right there. So this is the key pair name. It got injected into the machine. Once the machine is up and running, after the initialization checks are complete, we will get a notification in our computer, PC or Mac, and that will kickstart Visual Studio Code to connect to that Cloud Genius workstation. All of this is scripted, but you can examine the script. And there are more chats that I'm looking at. I think your chat questions are getting answered. Keaton, I think, is asking a question I think you know to take it to Slack chat. So Keaton, please take your questions in Slack chat and we'll answer it right away. And welcome, by the way. I know you joined a little bit late, but we have the recording going to become available in our website. You'll be able to see it, Keaton. Thank you. So as you notice, this thing is still taking its time for it to finish this initialization, and once it finishes that activity, we should be able to see that Visual Studio Code pops up, and it did. And what it does is gave us an IP address for us to connect, and this configuration is now available in your local computer, PC or Mac. So what it also does is opens up VS Code like this black window here. It's a piece of software that gets installed from the previous install step, and in here you should pay attention and go to this section here. This is the Remote Explorer button in VS Code. That's a plugin we added to VS Code to connect to the Amazon cloud, and that is what you need to see and click on it. So once you click on it, what you will see that it shows you the Cloud Genius workstation right there. So you click on this button like right here, and you click and it just connects to that machine out there. That's it. That's how you get connected to the Amazon machine. And you can see that it has given you a prompt already, the Ubuntu Cloud Genius prompt. This prompt is a way for you to know that you are connected to the machine out there in the Amazon cloud. You can tell that it is indeed a machine in the Amazon cloud by checking the uname. It tells you Linux Cloud Genius, and also the release information about this operating system is Ubuntu 20.04 long-term support, and that's the operating system version we are using in our Cloud Genius workstation. Now, having said that, we should exit from here, exit, and open a folder. That folder is called Home Ubuntu, and say OK, and that gives you access to your folders in that remote machine out there in the Amazon cloud. Here are the folders. You can see them on the left side, and here is the terminal. So for example, here I say list all the files and folders. You see the same list that you see on the left. You see the same thing here. See, item by item, same thing. It's the same thing, just showing you in a different manner. So this folder set is actually editable. It's a remote folder, so you don't have them on your computer at all. They are there, accessible to you. You can modify files, you can delete files, you can create files, you can run arbitrary code and destroy this machine and feel happy about it. That's the whole point of this, is to be able to comfortably do utterly meaningless things as you learn. And then once you learn, you know how to do it, then you don't have to, don't need this kind of a machine. Once you know what to do, you don't need this, what I call crutches, the training wheels, crawl, walk, run, remember? So this is the beginning step. So once you have this kind of a machine access to you, you can create a new file like this. I create a file called Nilesh. That file shows up right there. You can edit it. So say hello and save it and close it, just like you do in a PC or Mac, visually through VS Code, and you can inspect that file. It says the same thing that you saw in the file. You can remove it. Sorry, let's go remove it on the right side here, so on the left side here. I'll just use the delete permanently, right click delete permanently, and the file goes away. The file disappears on the left. I say ls-l a, and I don't see the file Nilesh anymore. It's gone. So this is your interface to that machine out there in the Amazon cloud. The same exact step happens in PC. The slightly different instructions, but they are there for you. You can now compare and contrast this instruction set for Macintosh, and the previous step has the instructions for PC. And that should get you get started with a bunch of other exercises. So that is the beginning step. Well, what we did today is basically created an account with Amazon, free tier, created a key pair from Amazon, saved it in our AWS configuration. Like for example, in PC side you do it slightly differently. How do you do it in PC? Somewhere here. There is a picture here. I show you picture there. So in Amazon you need to in a PC you need to provide your AWS secret key and access key, just like that, and you need to run this in one step in PowerShell. So you need to see the video and up in the section and do that in PowerShell as opposed to terminal. This little ASCII cast shows you exactly how to do it. And then once you have a key pair, once you have that connection established between your computer and the Amazon cloud, then you create a machine key pair and a security group, just like we did in the Macintosh. The same thing shows up here in the dashboard. There will be a key pair and there will be a custom security group by that name, created for you. When you use a PC or Mac, doesn't matter, the same thing gets created. And then you create a cloud workstation in the AWS cloud that goes exactly the same way in VS Code on a PC, in VS Code on a Mac, or in VS Code on a Linux box. It's identical for all three varieties. And then you mess it up. And the messing up takes time. You need to actually do meaningful work and sometimes meaningless work to goof off or mess around and understand what works, what doesn't work, and that's how you create a mess. That's how I like to learn, by the way, is by destroying stuff. And that's the reason why we have it set up this way. So you don't actually destroy your PC or Mac, but you make a mess out of that machine. And so, for example, you assume that I somehow managed to mess up my workstation. Which one? The VS Code workstation is that here. This machine that I'm looking at, somehow assume that I decide to make a mess and assume that this is now messy, like full of mess. Let's assume that, which means it's not working for me, nothing works, I'm disappointed. And by the way, this also comes with a lot of software preloaded, so that we don't have to waste time in setting up the software. This workstation comes with a bunch of tools that we will be using throughout the program, so it is already available to you. It configures itself with ready-made software, all open source, all automatically configured for you as you create that machine. But let's imagine that I somehow managed to mess it up. So what do? I close VS Code and then go to Amazon, click that machine out there and say instance state terminate. Yes, terminate. This guy. Now the right way, the right word, what's the phrase that he says? I'll be back, Arnold. So that's the meme, right? So you want to be this guy and I'll be back. You want to terminate that machine like that. So it's gone. That machine is completely extinguished from the surface of Amazon cloud. It doesn't exist anymore. It's gone. Maybe it is terminating and shutting down first, and then it will be terminated. It's currently shutting down, and in a minute or so you will see that the machine state, instance state, says terminated. I want you to feel happy about termination, because what termination really does is stops your bill. And that's the thing you want to feel happy about. Like, I'm not getting a bill. It's a good thing, right? When you don't waste your money. And so shutting down is not enough. You want to wait for the termination and make sure it is terminated. So just wait for it. It's a good thing to cross check whether it got terminated. Remember, I'll be back. So I'll be back and checking termination. I'm still not happy. Amazon is slow. By the way, this is a free cheapo machine, free tier, so it is going to be slow in its performance. And so sometimes you need a bigger box, and that you can create later on. Don't do it today. Don't do it right away. Get this bigger box later on, not right away. It's going to cost you money, about 3 cents per hour, 2 to 3 cents per hour. That's the cost. Don't want to get it right now, not at all. But remember, this box is not free for you. You need this box later on for some bigger exercises when the small enough, this machine that is now terminated, by the way, is not big enough to handle the work. You may need a bigger box, and at that time you will be spending 3 cents every hour. And just want you to be aware of that. When you do bigger exercises, this small, cheap, or actually practically free machine is not big enough. They don't give you big machines for free. They give you only one cheap, small T3 micro size machines, one of them for free for 1 year. That's the plan. And so sometimes you need a bigger box. Then you get that time, get a bigger box by running a different script. And you can do the same thing for PC, Mac, or Linux. Get a bigger machine on the Amazon cloud, and remember to terminate as soon as you're done. Otherwise, yeah, it's a drain. 3 cents an hour goes on out of your pocket. I don't want you to waste money. Spending money is a good thing if you know what you're doing, but wasting money is a dumb idea. Don't waste money. So don't run this. If you don't need it, don't do it. Next one. And once you're done with that, you can cross check and terminate the machine that you don't want. And if you want a smaller machine again, easy peasy. What do? Just get to the appropriate section and run that command to create a Cloud Genius workstation in the Amazon cloud one more time. So click it and go to the terminal and run it again. Bang, you get another machine. 2 minutes. Fresh new machine ready for you to use and experiment and mess up. That's the idea. It's going to become available any moment. This one is terminated. You refresh, you will see another one running now. It's initializing. As soon as the status check finishes, initialization finishes, the machine becomes ready, and it will become available to you in your PC or Mac or Linux inside VS Code software. And the machine now says, I'll be back. That's the machine saying. Okay, that was enough jokes. And so let's go back here. The idea behind all this is to not mess up your computer, but instead retain the ability to mess up a computer which is ideally free, and that is this time the second computer here, that one. This first one is dead, so let's call it dead and save it. The name is dead, so I mean the whole thing is terminated. We don't have to worry about it. This is the machine that is getting ready. It's initializing, and as soon as the initialization finishes, it's still initializing, and then we start our Visual Studio Code software, which should automatically pop up, by the way, and then we have access. So let's see. I was still waiting for the signal from Amazon that I'm ready. Once the machine is ready, it will signal us back, and then VS Code kicks up. And so we are waiting for that to happen. The command line should exit out at that point once the machine gets ready, and it should take a minute more, and it should be there. It's running already, and it finished. So VS Code pops up automatically. And you can again go to the same location which I told you already. It is this button. It is called Remote Explorer, that name, and that's what you click, and you'll see the Amazon Cloud Genius workstation in Amazon Cloud, the Home Ubuntu folder. You open it up, and there it is. The whole thing available to you in VS Code. You can access it. You can destroy it if you like, and this is where you do the hands-on work, and this is where you mess things up without hurting your personal machine, your PC or Mac or whatever you have, without hurting yourself or your computer that you spend money on. You destroy the other guys. It's a cloud. It's like a rental car. You don't worry too much about it, even if you have an accident, a little bit fender bender. Yeah, the insurance covers it, so you don't have to worry too much about it. You can beat it up a little bit, not too much. Fender bender here and there, the rental car company takes care of it most of the time, or your insurance covers it, or some things of that nature. But it's not your Tesla, right? Or some other exotic car you might have. So that you'll drive very carefully, because your PC, your Mac, and you will make sure that it's nice and clean. It's a rental car, so don't worry about it. Mess it up. You can kill it and return it. So killing a machine and destroying terminating a machine is basically returning your rental car back to the Amazon company. Another observation here, it's a critical one. Like for example, here you decide to take this machine and say I instant stop the machine. This stopping the machine is like stopping your car and parking it in your garage. Taking a rental car, stopping the engine, putting it in your garage in your home. Does that stop your bill? No. You have to return the rental car back to the company, like Hertz rental car or whatever you have, and then the bill stops. So simply by stopping a machine or rebooting, and we'll talk reboot later, simply stopping an instance doesn't stop your bill. The bill stops when you terminate. Remember Arnold, I'll be back. That's the way to play. Kill it. When you kill, the bill stops. Now what about this reboot thing? You don't want to reboot. You can, but remember, if you reboot, your connection will be lost because the IP addresses change. Like here, this address that you see here will change if you reboot, and then you need to know how to reconfigure it. And so my recommendation is don't bother rebooting until you figure out, and there are exercises about that also, as to how do you modify the IP address in your configuration so it connects to the right machine, even if this address itself changes. You take this machine and say reboot, well, this address changes and your PC or Mac doesn't know, so it will refuse to connect unless you know how to reconfigure your PC or Mac and modify a particular setting. I'm not going to that detail right now. You can, but not today. So there is an exercise coming up. So you will, as you go through the flow in our sequence here, you should be able to figure it out. If you don't figure out, just ask me a Slack chat question, and you'll get your answer. So with that, let's go to the next step and see what do we have that we should cover today. There's a Linux step, setup step. Then there are certain things here on the next page we have, which is to embrace the command line. Like many of you are comfortable with this thing I call terminal, right? Many of you are okay. You know how to deal with this, but some of you don't. Similar to this thing called the terminal, in Windows, there is this thing called PowerShell, the blue window, like in PC, you may have seen it. Many of you are already familiar with PowerShell, which is good, beautiful. Use it. But if you do not know what this thing is, like, because in Visual Studio Code, this is your terminal. This is the Linux terminal in CloudGenius Workstation. So you will be doing exercises in Linux. You will have to deal with the terminal. There is no escape. Absolutely no escape. Don't run away from it. And therefore, I suggest that you take a look at this tutorial. Ryan has a pretty good tutorial on Linux. Use it. Lots of things, the outline, command line. So yeah, make sure you go through this, and you can run these steps in your CloudGenius Workstation right here. Yeah, run through the Ryan tutorials on Linux. There's a link here on the website. You can go to Ryan's website. He has tutorials. You should see them. You should run it right in the CloudGenius terminal, like right here inside VS Code in the Amazon machine. So even if you mess it up, no problem. That's the idea. Mess here, not on your Macintosh terminal. So this is the Macintosh terminal. Don't mess this one up. Not here. Here. This is the Linux machine. Remember, you can check very easily like this. uname-a, that's Linux. Here, say uname-a, that's Darwin, which is Darwin is macOS, the kernel. So that Darwin says that, so that's how you know which terminal is this. So this is Darwin kernel, macOS kernel for my computer here, and so you don't want to mess this one up, this one. So for those people who do not have enough command line experience brush up is a good idea as you proceed towards the start date. The start date, as you remember, is January 17th. You have enough time from now. I think about 60 or so days. You have enough time to catch up. So run through these tutorials that you have. Go to the next step. Here you will find a variety of cloud services companies like Amazon Cloud, Microsoft Cloud, Google Cloud, DigitalOcean, Vultr Cloud, Scaleway Cloud, Packet Cloud, Zoho, Office 365, goes on and on, a whole list. And not only that, all these links that you have are freebies that these companies give you, like Google Cloud free tier and Microsoft free tier, Azure Cloud free tier, Amazon free tier. They give you free stuff. You want to make use of it, but one thing to remember: don't take all these freebies at the same time. Stagger it. Like, take the Amazon freebie for some time, like a couple of months down the road, you will switch to another cloud, take their free idea, and you stagger it so you get the most benefit of all the free stuff these companies give it to you. And that's how you exploit as you're a student, right? As you're learning, exploit all this. Make use of it. They give you free stuff, like you saw the Amazon Cloud. This is the Google Cloud. This is the Azure Cloud. And they're all giving you free stuff. So take it, enjoy it, learn from it. That's the idea. But don't sign up for all these free stuffs right away. Don't do that. Don't rush into it. Go steady. Understand one, then go to the next one, and build yourself. Don't rush. Slow is good. So sometimes, not always, but sometimes it's good. Slow and steady is a good thing. Detail and focus is very important. So that's what we'll focus on. Okay, there are some books that you want to get to. Most of these are available in your library, in a public library, or sometimes they are on Amazon for cheap. And then some concepts. And that's where you need to begin reading and doing more hands-on exercises as you proceed through the program. And I think this is a good point for me to stop the video conference right now, the streaming that we are doing live. I will stop it right here, and this video recording will become available to you in this Cloud Genius site somewhere. I'll place it somewhere here once I stop the streaming. It is also available in multiple social media channels, and I understand that there are people who are chatting and commenting on Facebook, and God knows where. I don't know. There are some messages. I will get to them. But if you really want an answer, you should go to the home page on this site, my site, and ask the question here. Here should the question go. The question should go here. If the question is not here, it may not be answered. If you want an answer, you should ask the question right on this site. Social media, I don't guarantee an answer. I may not answer. I'm just telling you. It's difficult to answer. So if you really want an answer, come to this site and ask a question. And if you're participating, go to Slack and chat. That's an interactive chat available to you. So do that. And with that, I think we'll conclude today's session. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, whichever country, time zone you are, and I will see you the next time. With that, bye-bye.